his taxes because he also had a restaurant also. I got out of the business, and that was the end of the conversation. And I actually got out at the perfect time because the pandemic hit a few months later in 2020, and it wound up being a blessing. So I kind of looked at it as, divine intervention or anything like that. And we got the tax write-offs personally also that goes along with it, and that was it. Like, I built a restaurant for my father. My father died in 2017. I ran it up until the lease ran out, and that was really the end of the conversation.
All right, let's get away from that, bro, because the bottom line is you already know the deal. It's not like these folks.
I thought that they wanted to. I thought they wanted to talk about the business.
Right. I'm saying you put it on the record, so that's your story. You're sticking to it. They're going to make their own narrative, but this is why I like to refocus, because people are going to hate once they see you doing something they're not and get into something that they don't have.
Oh, I'm okay with that. I like it.
Right. I'm saying what I do here with everybody is I like to refocus on how does rights, freedom, and principles factor into your life.
My pops passed in 2017, not 19. I closed the restaurant in 2019 once the lease ended.
Yeah. Again, at the end of the day, bro, I'm not going to sit here. I can't judge anybody for anything because I'm not God. At the end of the day, I'm less interested in the corporate aspects and the corporate business dealings as I am what the heart is of the being and what they want to stand for while they're here in this life. And I want to see how it relates to this walking path that I'm on. Right. So, like, when we talk Trump and DeSantis, I would ask you, right, if I was turning the table.
Do y'all want to know clear up any other questions for missing? I'm an open book. I have no problem.
I get that. I don't think that it's nothing that really is going to bring any kind of light to anything. And it's really just a narrative to try to get you to be seen as maybe something you're not, or what they want you to be, to build a straw man to burn it down. I don't give a fuck. Right. Ultimately, it's about the man and women that we are and how we live. That's where the power and the value is for what I do here most of the time. Right. So I'd rather you have a real conversation.
What is this thing he's saying in the chat? Privately owned, government operated narratives.
He's saying you're a black Mason boule. Right.
What is a black Mason?
They have these ideas that you're some kind of boule up there with P. Diddy, and you're doing some kind of evil to, bring us all in some kind of cultural programming, right? You're a Luciferian, I guess. I don't pretend to know one way or the other.
I don't know how to defend myself against that, so I'm gonna let him have that. Well, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I thought we had an understanding, Paul.
As far as what?
You agreed. I said, listen, I have no problem coming up, kicking it, working with you, but only under the conditions that I come along with Jack and Scott. I said we gotta respect our brothers, Jack and Scott. That was the thing.
Jack is right here, man. What are you? He's right next to you.
When I popped in the day, I seen you going at his neck, Paul.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna hold him accountable. I always do that with everybody. Right. So, excuse me.
What did he do? What did he do?
He has a long pattern and history of inserting himself into situations, circumstances, conversations having to do with me. He has a long habit of breaching boundaries. When it comes to talking with you, I don't even mind. Just keep me the fuck.
So Paul, let me ask you a question. I'm
sure this is somebody you don't know, you aren't aware of. So just tread lightly, Anton.
That's why I'm asking questions. I didn't make a judgment. I'm just asking questions. So my question is, because I seen you holding Jack accountable, and I don't know what he did wrong. But my question is, Paul, do you actually do anything wrong for people to hold you accountable for? Are you open to being held accountable?
Yeah, it would be biased for me to answer on myself in that way, and it would probably be disingenuous. You would have to ask folks in my life what I do wrong, and you would have to ascertain the facts of the matter on that and make that determination. I could give you my answer conditionally in each condition, subjectively, but of course,
I think it seems on the outside looking in, with the limited amount of insight and information that I have, that it's a little biased.
And you're entitled, obviously, to whatever perspective and opinion you have. But if you were to ask folks who've been here for the journey, and you were to go over the record, which I'm sure you don't have the time to do, you would find a constant pattern and history of repetitive behavior that doesn't seem like it's going to change, whether it's with Jack's friends and family, his career, professions, folks on the.
But you can't. Come on now, we throwing his personal business out there.
He put his personal details on the record. I respect him for that. We keep it all the way real here, you know.
Yeah, but the problem is that, okay, so let's say hypothetically that Jack had whatever snafus he had in his past, because none of us are completely without sin. None of us have
snafus. That's perfect.
Without ever making a mistake
sir.
having transgressed against somebody. I thought we were supposed to forgive each other and then keep it moving. Is this not scripturally, biblically based?
Sure. The problem is, like I'm saying, and this is the same thing like with my father, that conversation where you got folks with a repeated pattern of behavior and a lack of accountability and responsibility, properly.
But you did agree. You agree. Your agreement with me is that Jack is rocking with us and Scott also.
Listen, Jack has been here. See, this is the thing, Anton. Like, I don't know, you're doing a little pimping and macking, but what you don't understand.
I'm not doing anything. That was our agreement. That's what you said.
What you don't understand about me is I'm such a loving and caring guy that I continue to love and care for people after they try to fuck me over, and that might be one of my downfalls, you might say. Because I would think that being successful and a bag chaser on some level means you got to know who to take with you and who to leave to the side because of liability.
So why would you agree to something that you're not interested in doing? Then
it's not that I wasn't interested in that. I know myself, and I'm telling you what I know about me, regardless of what I can say in the moment, is I love and care about Jack, and I'm fascinated with him. So he's probably going to be here if he's willing and open to receive however I present. And I'm probably going to be on his panel if he's willing to have me there and not constantly throw me out like he does over there.
Can I jump in here just briefly? Anton, you walked into a very interesting story. Thank you. The way you're presenting it is beautifully. And Paul, what were you just saying? I'm sorry. There was something you were just commenting on about.
Why does everybody want to see me? Why are y'all asking to see me? I am getting my beard trimmed up because I have to go and film today.
Hey, bro, you know the game. If you're in the bathroom and they want to see you, you got to come on camera and push that lotion.
My barber is in here literally getting my beard trimmed up. So I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry, y'all.
Bro, you guys act like you guys need to learn what to pull with who and when. Like when I pull the get on camera shit, it's for beta boys who won't cam up. Anton has already shown, right, on some level, he'll pretty much go anywhere cam up, and he's not worried about that. So just like I'm not, he's not doing it for that reason, I would suspect. So, we have issues reading the room over here a lot of times, is what it is. It's like a self-awareness reading the room thing. I don't know.
Hey,
go ahead, Jack.
This is what I wanted to get at. Anton asked something to Paul about agreeing to something and then not following through. Paul, God bless you. You say whatever you want. But the other question is, do you accept accountability or responsibility when you are wrong? As someone who has spent a little over 6 months with you pretty consistently, I'm telling you, you do not.
Okay, where have I been wrong?
I've told you repeatedly that your narrative about me in many, many different ways was wrong. And I've seen you being called out on being wrong for many others. And you want to steamroll over people with your arrogance. So, Anton, thank you for being here. I've been trying to get Paul to shut up, but he won't offer me the respect of listening.
Wow. Jack, you can't get respect by telling somebody to shut up.
I've not told him shut up very many times. It's been my patience, brother, is documented and recorded.
All I can go by is the same way that I talk to him is the same way that I'm looking at you, is that I only can go by what it is that I can see right now.
Dumbass. Respect.
So, and I understand everybody gets mad. Hey, hold on. I got one more question really quickly. I know this is going well, but I just got one more question. White Gorilla, my friend, why are your people researching my 15-year-old daughter, Leslie?
Here we go, Anton. I can't be responsible for what these metaversal miscreants are up to. They do all types of activities, and I don't.
Why is people asking me who is Leslie, my 15-year-old daughter? I don't understand that.
You just said the other day when you were talking to Brian O'Shea that you're familiar with retarded people, and you've done this for a while. So every question contains its own answer.
Again, I'm just observing that I have no idea why people ask me who my 15-year-old daughter is. It's my daughter. I don't get it. Like, what is the goal of that?
To be fair, Anton, I mean, when you threaten people with IRS, indictment and stuff,
I told them specifically that it was a joke. And first of all, they volunteered the information. So it's not like I went and researched anybody. But secondly, I told Paul and I told everybody, I said it was hilarious. It was a joke. I don't have time to be calling no IRS on nobody, man. I got my own life to live.
Well, that's good to know.
Right. And I tried to tell all the rabid conspiracy theorists who are pretty sure they're on to everyone and everything in life. I said, yeah, Anton's pretty good at what he does. He's a pimper and macker. He's pretty diplomatic, but I don't think he's got that much time on his hands for someone who really hadn't done nothing to him if he's liking his life and what he's doing, which he seems like he is. So it'd be a detriment to him to waste his time to fuck with me. He could do it in another way, So, and again, we had this conversation yesterday. You guys got to move with the program, read the room, update the information, and then hold everyone accountable. Don't think Anton's getting away from this discussion about rights, freedom, principles, and voting for a white daddy. We're going to have it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, but is it a time limit on when we can have it? Like, I'm willing to talk about anything. Like, I don't care about anything. I even let people ask me about my personal business, and I don't run. I run to them, not from them.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. I think, I play the long game. I'm open to whatever is organic that comes forth. We do it now, do it later, whenever, But again, that's kind of what I do, and that's what I stand for. And I'm going to apply it to the conversation because I believe that's what we all need, especially after the past few years. And you know what I'm talking about if you do.
Hey, Paul, I got one more question. Who is this guy you sent over to my show earlier this morning?
Yeah, I didn't send him over there. Again, it's another representative who thought that it would be for everyone's best interest to go and use my name and talk about me. And at first I had some feelings about it. And then I said, you know what? It's better for Anton. He did a whole show on how white people are pathetic and embarrassing and disempowered. And pretty much he confirmed that. So I figured it's good content for you, but I didn't send him over.
Oh, that's cool. That's good to know.
Yeah, I don't send people. I just come over or I don't.
Hey,
so I don't know if y'all want to talk about something specific. I do have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna let.
Yeah, I don't have to run right away, but like I said, I gotta check out of this hotel, and then I gotta go and check into the spot where I'm gonna be working and doing interviews and stuff like that. So.
I'm going to turn it over to Talcott because he's really big on asking everybody to help him and do stuff for him. And I figure he's got a pitch for you on how he can use you to help him in his life and his success. So I'm going to turn it over to him and maybe he can, persuade you, I guess.
Well, hey, thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. And Anton, if you're willing to entertain, Paul's got some pretty big resistance for being used towards greater goals of others. And what he's implying is my purpose, my goal is I believe we can find ways, through connections and relationships. I think you, Anton, understand and respect the value of relationships. And I know that through relationships, connections are what really bring us together. And I think if we bring the right ideas and the right people together, bring the right connections and right solutions together, that we can confront the corruption of our governments and the quote unquote legal system.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, I think the thing about me is that honestly, even if I disagree with somebody on something specific, I see the value in them. right? Meaning that, so Paul has a completely different personality in a way in which he communicates than Jack. And Jack has a completely different personality than me, right? And so just because we're all different, or just because we may have a different stance on something specifically, that don't mean that we can't all benefit each other. I think that I can benefit people in a specific way. Paul can benefit people in a specific way. And the only thing that I say is I'm cool with being used, but I'm not cool with people misusing me. In the same way that I don't want to misuse other people, right? So it's all jokes, it's fun, it's content. Hopefully everybody make a lot of money. Just because I make a lot of money don't mean that you can't make a lot of money and benefited as a result of it. I've helped a lot of people get visibility, start channels. They make a lot of money as a result of it. And then we also hopefully can have some entertaining and thought-provoking conversations and progress at the same time while everybody is benefiting as a result of it. But I just don't want it. If you spend the majority of your time, and it's cool sometimes, but if you spend the majority of your time fighting and 90% of the conversation is who is doing what the wrong way, then you can't even put any medicine in the candy, because the only thing that people pay attention to is the nonsense.
Exactly, Anton. I'd like you to pay attention real quick, because I tried to help correct Jack yesterday.
And I'm gonna go on mute for about 10 minutes, but I am listening and I'm observing.
Okay, this is that homemade postage stamp I told you about. Now, this went through the mail, the postal service. As you can see, the squiggly lines. So if this was actually mail fraud, the postal service would have told me that it was mail fraud. And what you have here is Jack, a postal service worker that got fired because he was fucking incompetent. Then he comes up on your panel when I'm showing this stamp, and you want to laugh about it, and that seems fraud to you, but you're also incompetent to the knowledge. Jack is supposed to have known this. And when I went on his panel to help correct him, he immediately shut me down. Jack is not about the truth. He will never be about the truth. He's a narcissistic motherfucker that thinks he knows things and don't. And when somebody comes up and proves it, he shuts him down. So fuck you, Jack. Anton, that's why we have Discord on here. Because motherfuckers like Jack come in here running their mouth like they know shit, and they don't. And when somebody else tries to prove it with firsthand physical evidence, with an agreement with the Postal Service that he knows nothing about, he wants to call it fraud too. He calls it fraud, though, because he's too fucking stupid to comprehend it, and too fucking narcissistic to listen to find out the reality of it.
What a fucking insecure bitch, man.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh my God. White people, huh, Anton?
It has nothing to do with white people. It has to do with the truth when it comes out of my mouth, motherfucker.
Yeah, you think because it comes out of your mouth, it's true, but you're confused, brother.
I was showing it was true, dumbass, motherfucker, narcissistic, egotistical, motherfucking punk-ass bitch.
Keep revealing your lack of character.
Yeah, keep telling people I'm committing
Y'all are
fraud.
wild. Y'all are wild over here.
This shit is... Praise God. Praise God, man. You could not imagine this shit. This has got to be divine creations.
Yes, post to post. One
Praise
messenger
God.
shall run to another messenger and shew unto the king of Babylon that his city is fallen from the other end. You blasphemous motherfucking bitch.
Yes, you are a messenger of love and righteousness, aren't you? Wow.
I would love to fucking see you face to face.
I'm sure you would, and I wouldn't stand down any less for anybody I love if somebody is fucking perpetrating a fraud upon them. I've been known to do it for myself, and I will do it for anybody else that is in the truth. You fuck off.
Hey, what are you going to do when you realize you've been wrong about me, Keith?
What are you going to do when I realize if I'm wrong about you? There ain't no ifs in my life, motherfucker. I ain't wrong about you. I tried to prove you wrong last night and you shut me down. Now what are you going to do about it? You can't prove it wrong here, can you, bitch?
Fascinating. You've said a lot of things, so in your mind, you have been flawless with your words. That's quite
I've never
impressive.
said I was flawless. There you go again, projecting, you dumb fuck.
Well, I asked, what are you going to do when you recognize that you have been wrong
I'm
about
not
what
wrong.
you have said?
How can I be wrong when I clearly proved that you're a narcissistic fuck that doesn't like to be proven wrong? Your own self, dumbass.
See?
There you go, twisting things around as if though I'm wrong. You're wrong, dumbass. I proved it to you in your own codes that you were supposed to be subject to through the Universal Postal Union. And you don't even want to reflect on it because you're never wrong, right? Right?
Hey, dumbass.
Come on, admit that you were wrong about the stamp, and maybe we can backtrack a little bit. But until then, you dumb fuck, you ain't got a fucking thing to say about truth. Because you're
Really? Oh, really? You're fucking insane, dude.
Oh, yeah, I'm insane.
Yes, you are. You are in
How
denial.
many times did they have you take that insanity
Holy
test?
shit.
I believe we concur on that 3 times as well. Try to prove me insane, you dumb fuck. The government's already tried it 3 times
Right.
and can't do it. You
Wizard,
dumb son of a bitch.
nothing can be proven to you because you are in denial.
They weren't trying to prove
You
it to me. They were trying
refuse
to prove it to
accept the
themselves.
truth. You're fighting for lies.
Oh, I'm fighting for lies.
Yes.
I'm fighting for lies to show people why the fuck would you use an obligation or other security of the United States?
Wizard, you're fighting for lies in the context of me. You know what? I'm done engaging. I'm a fool to engage with a fool.
That's right, you
Wizard,
are.
you
You're
are
a fool
correct.
to engage
Praise
in anyone
God.
with your fucking babble shit.
Praise God. I love you, brother, man.
Blowjobs?
That would be a nice change.
Wait a second. You want to get blown by a man?
Why would you jump to that conclusion? No.
I was kind of doing a bit non-bit where like you and Wizard were going to hug it out, or because you said you haven't had any contact from anyone in 5 years. So I figured you'd be happy to take it wherever you could get it,
I'd give Wizard a big fucking hug and his anger would fall away and we could have a great lunch and a great day together. Oh, bullshit.
There's no anger. It's
Wizard, you're in denial about what you
true. And
Wizard,
you sit there and tell people this is fraud when the Postal Service, your
Mhm.
boss, sent it through because
Right.
I informed them. I gave them the declaration of customs.
I know.
Everybody goes to customs and they ask you, what do you have to declare? I have a customs stamp and
Mhm.
it declares the value. So
I know.
fuck you and all
Yes.
your bullshit. It ain't about anger.
Right.
It's about the truth.
No anger with you whatsoever. It's getting thrown all over
Hey,
me.
there's anger all over.
Praise God. I will
said,
receive
I never
what you
said I'm
got.
not angry. I said it's not about being angry. It's about the truth, you dumb fucking cocksucking punk ass bitch.
Hey, if you chill the fuck out.
No, I ain't gonna chill the fuck out. You
Hey,
need your
the
fucking
truth
ass reamed
includes-
100 times worse than it's ever been reamed.
Oh my
You
God.
dumb fucking punk ass bitch.
When you see yourself with honest eyes, I hope to have conversations after you do.
Just cooperating and like takes over, and it was like, oh, holy. All I could say was holy.
Holy cows.
Oh God.
I do love you, Paul. Holy cows, man.
I love you too, Jack. You just, God, what are we gonna do with you, man?
Fucking put him in a fucking insane asylum. That's where he fucking belongs.
Oh no, Wizard, that's not okay. You know what? You might have a lot of friends there to play with, Talcott. It's an idea. You haven't had any contact. You'll be forced to have friends at that point, right?
Yeah,
Hey, Paul,
maybe you'll meet Kevin Spacey and you'll go to K-Pax,
I have no idea what that means. Go ahead, Talcott.
for the productions, when we do the series and all the spin-offs, there's actually some stories that go along with that topic, getting locked up and judged.
Oh yeah, that's right. We got to show fucking Anton, our new special guest, how you made it big, right? One of the ways that you made it big.
Yeah.
Because you did something recently that made the news.
I'm surprised you got out of jail.
Right, so we got to show that.
Quick.
Thank you, sir. There's only room for one host of this broadcast. Folks are still figuring that out, but we'll get it. So here we go. We have it. This is what Jack finally made the big time, Jack, and I'm proud of you. Whoa, I
am a little concerned now about.
What are you concerned about, Jack?
Talcott clip collection comment.
Tonight at 6, with our first look through courtroom sketches of the Spokane man, Jack Talcott, who's accused of ramming a U-Haul into a barrier near the White House. And this is video of the incident that people from coast to coast and all across the world are seeing tonight.
The Spokane County man told investigators he was doing that to get to the president. He had plans, and we're learning from all new court documents, new information, that Jack Talcott's attempt to get to the White House happened on the north side of Lafayette Square. This gives you a better idea of actually how close to the White House that is.
Tonight we have team coverage working to piece together what led up to this cross-country trip from his Spokane home to D.C. and what's happening now as he faces charges. Our own Caroline Hecker is outside of Talcott's home with a wealth of new information she's just gotten over the last 30 minutes. Caroline?
Well, tonight we're getting our first look at those court documents that specifically detail the interview that he had with Secret Service agents just last night after his arrest. In that interview, he told them he bought a one-way ticket to Dulles, arriving about 8 o'clock last night. Once he landed, he says he went to a nearby U-Haul store, rented a truck, and headed for the White House. Hours before FBI agents showed up at Jack Talcott's Spokane home, the case against him was already growing, mainly from an interview with the feds. During that interview, Talcott told agents it was his goal to, quote, get to the White House, seize power, and be put in charge of the nation.
Right.
When agents asked him how he would seize power,
Man,
he told them he
oriented.
would, quote, kill the president if that's what I have to do, and I would hurt anyone that would stand in my way. He told agents his actions had been successful because his intention was to get the attention of Secret Service. He made mention that his goal was to, quote, live without fear, and said he eventually started writing his plans to enter the White House and what he would accomplish if he was in charge. When asked about the flag he left at the scene, Talcott said it was a swastika and that he designed the flag himself because, quote, the Nazis have a great history, man. The affidavit.
I just want to be clear. Talcott says that was just a promotional piece. It was marketing. So, I don't want to upset any of the African-American viewers or small-hatted folks. So he did say that the man was a great leader. I don't know if you've heard that. He did say, well.
He left at the scene. Talcott said it was a swastika and that he designed the flag himself because, quote, the Nazis have a great history, man. The affidavit goes on to say Talcott said he admired, quote, their authoritarian nature, eugenics, and their one world order. When asked if he looked up to any leaders, he told agents, quote, Hitler, because he was a strong leader. Now, that affidavit also went on to say that he has been planning this incident for the last 6 months. He could appear in court once again as early as tomorrow. Caroline Hecker, News 4.
Caroline, thank you for that update. The White House says President Biden was briefed on the whole incident earlier. Here's some of what the press secretary told News 4's Washington bureau.
That is not
Clearly,
me.
the president was here yesterday working at the White House, and of course he was here last night.
Wait a second. What do you mean that's not you? That's your picture. That's your name. It's
Look at it. Listen, I have a check mark next to my name, and it's not Anton. It's not Anton Daniel.
Right.
I don't have an apostrophe in my name.
All right, you gotta watch out for these folks. They're a little bit tricky here.
That's not me.
These white people have a lot of time on their hand and a lot of resources and technology, so you got to watch them.
I can tell you that he was briefed by both the relevant agencies, if you will, law enforcement agencies who had to deal with the situation, and he's very thankful to them for their quick response.
There's still a lot to learn about the plans Jack Talcott had. News 4 investigator Susan O'Corey has been looking into his records and his past to learn more about the violent man.
U.S. officials familiar with the investigation are making it clear he's not someone who is known to them. They tell us he didn't come up on any watch list, but they are now considering him an emotionally disturbed person. They didn't give us more details on that, but we have learned he's been interviewed by multiple FBI agents, and during those made what were described to us as broad, vague threats towards the president, and he also brought up taking over the world. Tonight, we're talking to a man who was there outside the White House when this attack happened.
Once I saw the truck back up,
wants to take over the world,
again,
can't drive
I knew
a truck.
that this wasn't just an accident or a drunk driver or anything, that this seemed pretty intentional.
Chris the Boy capturing this cell phone video of what investigators are calling an attempted attack on the White House.
If I had been just a little bit later, I would have been face to face with the driver.
The boy, who lives in the Washington, D.C. area, spoke to News 4 Investigates about his close call.
It's just all really surreal. I was just going for my normal run, and I usually run on the mall by the White House because it's, there's a lot more security there and I feel safer. So you just don't expect that sort of thing to happen.
Investigators say the driver of the rental truck is Jack Talcott, a 49-year-old from Spokane, Washington. A U.S. official familiar with the investigation says the man flew out of Spokane on Monday night. The home listed to the man was quiet Tuesday, and police say that Talcott was not known to them. His name also isn't tied to any recent court records. The Office of Inspector General for the United States Postal Service did confirm that Talcott was recently terminated from his managerial position at the post office. During interviews with our investigators, his neighbors described him as an abusive and angry man and believed he was, quote, a threat to the welfare of public safety. We're going to keep looking into his background. Here in
Figure it out,
Washington, police
motherfucker.
say they've never been called out to Talcott's house, nor are they involved in the investigation. They stressed that they will help, but only if asked. Susan O'Corey, News 4 Investigates.
Fuck you! Jesus!
Shocking details of Jack Talcott's recent promotional tour, I guess you could say. He's bound to get his name out there one way or the other. So,
news from the multi-dimensional timelines. The news is creeping over into ours. That might have really happened.
You can't be out here running U-Hauls into good white people on the street. That was a nice young man.
Y'all are absolutely wild. I don't know who put the effort into producing it.
That was good.
That's a lot of effort.
Yeah, we got
all for you, Jack.
We got a bunch of them at this point. It's actually cop flicks. It's better than Netflix. So there's a bunch of them. He actually went on Dr. Phil like you did. We have one with Dr. Phil and Jack Talcott. We have one where he talks to Jordan Peterson. I mean, the man gets around.
Yeah. There's something amazing happening here.
Best ones are with Wes Watson, though, Jack. Seriously.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Everybody is friends. Everybody loves each other.
Time.
Jack, what time are you streaming? Are you streaming tonight, Jack?
I am planning 5:30 West Coast, 8:30 Eastern.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so let's do some final words. Let's take a break. I'm sure Mr. Talcott is very busy. So we'll let him prepare for his broadcast, and then we'll be over there. And Jack, I'm probably going to give you hell, as always. I'm going to hold you accountable. But the good news is you got a new black daddy. It's like the opposite of Different Strokes, right? It's the same story in reverse. Like I have a new thumbnail I want to make where Anton holds you like the Different Strokes white daddy did with the little Emmanuel Lewis character. Or was it Coleman? One of them, right? I want to have the other way around. He's your Mr. Drummond, right? So I think he's got a more clear path to success than I do. So please, he said you can use him. Immediately do that and stop doing it with me. It's going to go a lot better, I suspect.
What you talking about, Wallace?
Okay, my final words. Anton, brother.
What's going on, friends?
If one can create their own armorial bearings, in other words, their own coat of
Hold
arms.
on. I can't hear you. Give me 1 second. Go ahead. What was you saying?
If one can create their own armorial bearings, in other words, their coat of arms and their family crest, and they can create their own flag, and then create their own money, what makes you think that they can't create their own stamps? This is simple reason and logic, people.
Why are you so hell-bent on this stamps thing?
Because everybody's worried about this bagging thing. Why aren't you teaching them how to bag their own fucking gold and silver?
Well, okay, so I'll give you an example, right? You said if people can create their own money, right? What is that money based off of?
A weights and measure?
Nope, not at all. So your current dollar is based off of what? How do we
I have no idea what the current dollar is based on, because you can have a dollar bill that don't weigh the weight of a dollar.
Correct.
Based on petroleum, the answer is.
It's really not.
Okay, that may be according to that monetary system.
No, the value of a dollar.
The God thing, it's based on your talents.
Nope, that's not true.
Oh, yeah.
Your dollar, the value of a dollar.
Shekels of gold, which are based on your talents. Everything is based on your talents first. If you go to Burger King and you can't flip a burger, you ain't got the talent to get paid. But if you go to a family mom and pop's restaurant and they teach you, they're going to take it out of your wages. Then you can go back to McDonald's, and then you'll have a minimum wage. But as you learn, then you can go to a real restaurant or make your own restaurant and create your own wage.
That's not true. Listen.
Sure it is.
The value of a dollar today, it used to be a promissory note. And what that means is that it used to be substantiated by the idea that we actually had real things like gold inside of the U.S. Treasury, right? But it was very difficult for people to be able to carry around gold. And so what happens is they traded in that gold for a dollar. But today it's not based off of that because they printed more money, which then led to inflation. And so the value of that dollar is based off of our belief in it. That's it. But wait, the reason why hold on, give me a second. Give me a second, Wizard. Our belief in it is why they say the banks are too big to fail. Okay? Because it's the only way in which we can uphold a society is that people actually believe in it. We all have to buy into it in order for it to be relevant and used in order to exchange goods and services to keep us from killing each other. And but here, Wizard. Let me bring it back to the question of your creating your own currency and your own stamp conversation. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is that if the overwhelming majority of us don't believe in what it is that you substantiate as a relevant measure to be able to deliver that mail or create your own currency, it has no relevance for us as an overall society. So just because you can create it, don't mean that we need to embrace it or believe in it, which then invalidates anything that you have going on. Because if we don't rock with it as an overall society, then it means nothing to us.
Again, you're going as a society. I'm not going by the society. I'm going by a group of peoples. Okay. And that group of
So
people,
who believes in your currency and who believes in your stamp?
it's the group of peoples is the same thing as the private member association. This is where you keep your trading and everything internal. So the value is still going to be maintained, but it's going to be maintained within that group. So it doesn't
Okay, so
really
who's in
matter
your group
what
that
the
believes
value
in your
of that
currency?
group is compared to other commodities and societies.
Who believes in your currency and your stamp then?
It better be the people of this godly world that believe in those scriptures.
See, and that's where you off. That's where you off. Because
No.
just because you believe in it don't mean that we need to acknowledge it.
No, I'm not. The scriptures themselves are acknowledgement of what already is.
Just because you recognize it, and just because you believe in it,
Islam are all based on what already is.
just because you recognize it and just because you believe in it, don't mean that we have to validate it. That's the beauty. That's the beauty in this world.
But
And this
when I
country
do
is that
recognize something,
we can choose to believe and rock with whatever it is that we choose to believe and rock with.
But when I do recognize something and I show you its validity, that is not the time to do so.
How can you tell us
saying?
what the time is to do so? Based off of what?
If you're going to sit there and dismiss this and say this is fraud, that would be a lie.
Well, it depends. It depends on what the collective, the overwhelming majority decide what is fraud is and what it isn't.
No, it's what the Postal Service determines what fraud is. It's their jurisdiction.
Okay, listen. If you believe so, then that's cool. I have no problem with that. But you're gonna have to take that up with Jack because apparently you and him have a problem.
Yeah, and that's because again, it's the Postal Service that regulates this. But again, the true word of truth that the king of Babylon city has fallen at the other end comes from one messenger running to another messenger because a post goes to a post. It all starts with the post. And what are you posting, Anton, in any venue? It's all a postal service, every last bit of it, because the subject matter is a posting, whether it be a video, audio, text, whatever. It's a posting. It's a verb. It's an action of posting. That's postal jurisdiction, brother. It's that simple, people.
Listen, I'm gonna let you have that because I literally have to leave out this hotel room so I can head over into my spot. But hopefully I can tap into.
Brother, I would never mislead you. Never.
Hopefully I can tap into Jack's live stream tonight if I have time, and then we'll go from there.
Hey, Anton, just wanted to say peace from OTW News. My name's Patrick.
What up, OTW?
Nice to meet you, man.
You too, my friend.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, we'll talk later.
Hey, please, if convenient, you're welcome, brother. It's great to see you, and I
if I don't get an opportunity to be able to tap in today, then I'll definitely tap in at a later date. But I'm gonna try. I'm definitely gonna try my hardest.
Hey, much love. I've been catching the morning show, and I'll be catching those too, man.
It's pretty entertaining. It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see you guys.
All right.
Have a good one, man. Paul, thank you. I got frustrated earlier, and this opportunity, I felt we were able to calm down a little, hopefully.
I think you're going to learn a lot more as we go along, Jack.
I'm going to what?
You and others are going to learn a lot more as we go along on this journey, and you're going to realize a lot more things about why I've done what I've done and said what I've said. That's what I suspect, but we'll see.
Amen, brother. I share those exact sentiments. People will learn eventually what I've been saying and what I've been doing. And when that happens, the pieces will click and they'll understand. And it'll be like, holy shit. Hope to see you later, brother. Thank you.
All right, Jack.
Thanks for letting me hang out as always, man. I mean, damn. God, I learned so much from this fucking place, and I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. We appreciate you, sir.
Good time. Have a good one.
We'll see you later.
Interesting stream, Paul. I was down there begging to get the link. I wanted to come up a little bit early.
Well, I know everybody wants FaceTime with their new black daddy. They want to like promote. They want to. I get it. You know, like
yeah.
Hey,
I wanted to meet him. Yeah. I did the thing. I did it. I'm guilty.
I got it. I see it coming, right? When everyone's desperate. Oh, give me the link. Give me the link. Give me the link. I know it's like not to add value to the conversation. It's to promote OTW news. So, you know.
Thanks a lot, brother.
And that's why I make you wait for it, because I know what you're up to. So I'm going to make you feel it.
Yeah, I'm not denying it though. At least, you know, I'm not.
Right? Hey, and I really, there's nowhere. He's shameless. That's the thing. He's like the new HBO special for, as Anton says, white people. He's the shameless 2.0, right? So if you're cool with it and you own the position and you don't do like Jack Talcott and say you're trying to save the world, I guess I can't really say nothing, right? Whatever it'll be, it'll be.
Yeah, well, it was still an interesting stream. It was nice to hear, you know, but I was kind of odd though the altercation between Wizard and with the postal thing. It was kind of like kind of weird, but anyway, what can I say? It was a interesting stream, like I said. I yield.
Right, everyone needs to incorporate the idea that life is a long game, and so the metaverse shouldn't be any different. I don't care how excited everyone is or what they think is going to happen or what they think has to be known right now. Again, turn the heat up and see where it goes. You know, he can handle himself like anybody else. But ultimately, it's like if your goal is to convince Anton or folks who run with him of some understanding, it's probably not going to happen right now and today. You know, it's going to happen over a long period of time through you establishing trust and showing that you're honorable and respectable and trustworthy, and that you're proper with your speech and understanding, just like it would be courting with anybody else, going to court, right? So again, everyone's got to figure out what their agenda is, you know, with Anton or anyone else. Like, what are you trying to use people for? What do you want to communicate about yourself? What do you want to be known about you and how you live and how you walk? And then just, again, by working on you and showing that and being that, you'll get wherever you need to get to, surrounded by whoever's meant to be there. You don't have to do nothing extra. If you do extra shit, you're doing too much, right? So, you know, it's a long game, man. You know, get in where you fit in, bring value where you can. Like pineal power, I had to throw them in the back. And that's the thing, is like when certain people are going to come here, I want to kind of run it a certain way. You know, I'm going to give, again, they could say that I'm kissing up to the new daddy as well, but it's a kind of thing where it's like, if I broadcast, you know, and I'm going to do what I do here, you know, and he shows up first day and says, why the fuck are you here with these bozos and doing this bullshit? I'm like, well, here we go now. All right, we're going to do the ego competition. So like, if he comes here and he's going to pull that card with me, well, then, you know, I'm going to put on a little bit and I'm going to, you know, show the clip, do some, you know, back and forth knowledge and information and ask him questions. Like I said, I'm going to hold him accountable because, like I say with everybody, when I get in a room with everybody, it's rights, freedom, principles, and how are we going to secure our property, future, and destiny, especially what we've seen after the past few years. So we're going to get to that conversation. It needs to happen. And then there has to be some growth and learning from everybody. Because again, I'm not going to sit here and play sides. You know, that would be a detriment to me and everyone else. Everybody needs to know how to be financially successful and secure. You need to know how to uphold God-given rights and freedoms and principles first and foremost. So I'm sure there's a lot everybody can learn from each other. I'm sure if everybody gets out of their imagination, man, and out of their ego and desires and just be themselves and give what they know and show it, and, you know, read the room, man. Pineal power is exactly. You're like crying out, making noises, you know.
But dude, I so resonate.
And sound effects at that time, you know, like
right.
The thing is good enough on its own, right? For people who haven't seen the Talcott saga, who are new to it. So Anton's new to it, right? So I'm almost like kind of doing a broadcasting kind of competition game of nonsense. And then I'm also kind of like, well, since you're like, so this is why I'm bizarre, because it's like everyone else wants to suck Anton's dick And I want him to get a good look at my world and what the fuck I'm dealing with here and in life in general, right? Like I would anyone who comes here who considers themselves somebody successful. If other people consider them that, I'm like, hey, check out what I got going on over here and in this life on all levels. And, then we zoom in on Talcott because he just met Talcott. Now Talcott's in a conversation with somebody who's in a room with people who I respect, for different things. So I just think the dynamic is hilarious. I think this is why the metaverse is great, because you can reach out and touch everybody, and that's why this could be a great venue for real celebrities, folks worthy of celebration on all levels, hopefully, faithfully, but never before kind of in history did motherfuckers be perceived as successful or celebrities or just known. And we all reach out and touch each other and interact, from whatever level, right? That's a beautiful thing. And that could lead to so much more. But again, it's just, there's a fine line between everybody being real people and regular people and then kind of like getting it together at certain times.
Yeah,
I kind of know. And that's what I've been saying here from day one. It's not even about Anton. The point is, I've been telling motherfuckers here from day one, bro, I know with the way I do what I do and what the fuck comes up when people search my name that I got folks watching with eyes on me, right? From all stratosphere. So just stop fucking embarrassing yourself and me here. If you're going to do it, do it well, right? I guess do it like Brian O'Shea does it. Do it like
go
the
all
Moon
out.
kind of does it sometimes. Right, really go full retard, and but like this lukewarm, half-ass shit where people are gonna like force something, and then it goes nowhere, and it just throws everything off balance. Like I've been tired of it from the beginning, and the more that I like see and feel that folks are watching me, who I could work with, content create with, get right on certain things, they could get me right on certain things, and we all be better. I'm gonna take those opportunities, and I'm gonna leave folks who can't do what the fuck they need to do where they're at, right? Like
really
I've said it
with that, dude. I know what you mean.
Years.
I know exactly what you mean. Just the fact that today, when I had you on my panel, I really resonate with what you're saying because I experienced the same type of thing that you've experienced today with Anton. It's like to me, you're like let's say to like Anton to you, let's say, you know what I'm saying? Like metaversely speaking. So when you're coming up on my panel, my job is trying to keep you there as long as possible because you're the one who's attracting the public. You're bringing the content, you're bringing the audience, you're bringing a lot of value to the channel. So my goal is to keep you there as long as possible. So this is one of the reasons why I also encouraged you when with the Illumitami situation and everything. So I do get what you're saying, and I understand what like the angle you're coming from because I experienced the same thing today with you. So
but again, it's like I'm always in that mode because I don't need anybody of any whatever to be here for me to feel like that. I could be broadcasting to 10 fucking people and I'm sitting here going, bro, why are you doing that right now? Why are you saying that right now? Why do you got your mic open doing shit in the background? And I got to like make jokes and turn it into something because really I want to smack you in the back of your head. It's like you want to destroy your life and mine and my broadcast. So now I have to make it into something because it's your incompetence and it's your lack of talent and ability. And it's your lack of will and discipline to create a better version of you, So then it reflects onto me in my day-to-day life when I'm on here and I feel that. And then when folks are here watching me and basically scouting me to be part of a situation where this all kind of goes to, I mean, Zetetic Warrior came here months ago and said, Paulie's got the X factor. If you don't feel it, we feel it. He's going somewhere, wherever that is. I was already somewhere and someone to me, but I knew what he was saying, right? And then I got people around me trying to use me, coattail ride, suck dick in public, then demean me on other panels and shit on me, right? All to get next to somebody when I finally get an opportunity. And then that's the shit that gets to me. And I get how Anton is. He's like me. It's not going to be anything. He'll show up, support Jack in little ways, make him feel good. Maybe even offer him whatever. He may not offer anybody anything. Great. The point is, I was aware of a dynamic, right? Doing what I do. I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to bring more and more viewers day by day, show up for myself and others, bring value, and I'm going to continue to duplicate, emulate, replicate what I've already seen from the beginning. And I know it gets results. And when I have folks here who detract from that, interfere, I'd rather come on and do an hour and shut it off and figure out what the fuck to do with the rest of my time, energy, attention, than to let it draw out, to let it express. And then half the time people got to sift through nonsense to even fucking get anything.
I get that, man. It's like I have to sit through a bunch of bullshit for 8 hours straight. Well, sometimes there's actually good content where the conversations are actually productive, but sometimes I have to sit through some, especially towards the end of my streams. I have to sit through a bunch of fucking bullshit, garbage, nonsense.
Who said you had to? What do you mean by that?
Well, because I like to respect my 8-hour engagement, right? So yes, I do have to, because and there is a certain point where I don't even know what kind of content I could bring after 8-hour streams. So this is why I do the open panels, because in a sense, the people that come up are the content, you know. And if the conversation,
bro, the other part of it is we've done many times here relationship dynamics, man, woman, you know, talk about like. This is the thing that I still always am into, you know, because it's part of that social power dynamic and it's informational, but it always leads to good content either way. So it's a win-win-win. And it's like, people don't got to be scared to come up on panel. You got to be scared of what you can talk about and not. Just come up and talk about your life, what you're dealing with. We'll go into it, go into your background, this and that. We could do an hour or two on that. If you're real about it, you'll find some value in it, I'm sure. That's how you get to confidence. Confidence is confiding. The more you talk about who you are and what you go through in a venue like this or in a group setting, the more you're going to be okay with your life path and reconcile it and be able to move forward.
Well, I have to admit, I've never really spoken about my personal life since the 8 months that I've been like consistent on YouTube. So, you know, I haven't really gone into the you know, I haven't dived into that part of myself and given any sort of, I don't know, anything for anyone to come at me with, you know, like this is what I've noticed on YouTube is sometimes people do get a little bit too personal in their lives, and then people fucking they use that against you, and they come at you with it. So that's why maybe I avoid the topic. I don't really like going into my life and talking about what things I do or relationships that I have or whatever, you know. Sometimes I'll let it slip. I'll let something slip, but it's like once a stream, maybe. It's like very rare. So if you do a compilation of all the times, then maybe you might have an idea of what's going on, but I don't really talk about it much. But maybe I don't know. I guess it would have to like really hit home if
bro, we're in the worst fucking time ever for self-knowledge, self-growth, and self-development because there's so much available online, but folks can't get the fuck offline to employ it. And they can't seem to get it done here because they're too distracted and too caught up in some simulation dopamine loop. So it's like, you know, it's the worst time ever because you got a whole bunch of motherfuckers who are aware that attention can be value. If you got something behind it, then it's true value, true power, not just false power. But they don't want to employ that. They want to force a conversation to force the idea of an intention and interaction. And then when you get past that point, there's nothing to show. Right. And then it sounds egoic and arrogant. You have to be a dynamic, didactic personality who's good at speaking in this venue. It's like you from the neck up and what's in your heart and your mind and how you speak it. If you're not fucking good at that, why are you even here? Is that like an asshole thing to say? Like people are coming on here almost wanting to like find a family in a community. Oh, great. You could do that at a Starbucks, I guess. If you're going to do that on here, where does it go? Because we're back to square one. So you find a community of people and you say, what do we have to offer? What is our value individually and collectively? How do we upgrade that and better that? Self-development, self-knowledge, self-worth, self-esteem. How are you going to do that on a fucking metaverse? That's why I say my life is not the metaverse. I brought my life to the metaverse, but I'm a very simple man with a simple life. We complicate the shit out of everything. You know, I don't even have much to talk about most times. We wind up talking for hours at times, but I don't have thoughts that go through my head nowadays. There's nothing to think about. Stop thinking and then your problem. I don't think about shit. There's something on my heart. I speak it. I flow from that space and I keep it moving.
It's very impressive in my opinion. From my perspective, man, it's like the way you monologue and how you're able to like go on a rant for like minutes on end. It's just like, fuck, man, I'm impressed. I don't know how you do it. I also commend other guys that can do it very well. Like Benton is really good at it, and you know. So I'm not. I've noticed I look back on the stuff that I do. I see how I present myself. It's
so you see what Dick says down there. And this is where, like, they say I'm egoic, but it's not, because I've had people tell me over and over again, just fucking drop everyone and go back to talking to the screen, even if you got to do 45 minutes to an hour. When Anton or someone who has a following, quote unquote, or a platform comes here, drop everyone and have it back and forth. Because their perspective is no one else adds any value to the conversation. It's just an interference and a detraction. So now folks have to decide, is that true or not? Right? And then you can hear other opinions down there. But 90% of the time, it's an interference or detraction or distraction, or puts people off balance from whatever energy is going or in the room. Even if it's just nothingness and silence sometimes. I go, we do a broadcast where silence is supposed to be the enemy. There's some times where silence could be our best friend, and folks ruin that, thinking they got to just say something to fill the gap. It's not always the case. You know, so all I could ever language it out to is a reading, a timing, and an awareness thing. You know, reading the room.
I take examples off of broadcasts that are unsuccessful. You know, like I do go and I support like some of the other broadcasters that are trying to come out of the woodworks. You know, and Pineal's one of them, and there's Cage, and you know, there's a few, and this is the whole thing. I use these as examples to what not to do, but sometimes my broadcast ends up being that because of the obviously the panelists that come up and don't contribute, or you know, I mean, I do understand, like,
example, right, of how the mind of what they would call an entertainer works, because they tell me now that I'm like a born entertainer, and I always felt that. I just didn't know it, I guess. The more people tell me about me, the more it reconciles feelings I've had. But in the middle of me telling Anton he's a bitch and a hoe the other day, he stopped and he created dead silence. So now I'm feeling the dead silence on his broadcast to make sure his broadcast is better, whether I'm like into it with him or not. Because I go, this is just not good for this moment right now. So now I'm like, you know, so then I start going, yeah, this is great, Anton. You got dead silence on a broadcast. That's always good. And I've said that before, and I'm just kind of doing that to fill space, to give the people something, because sitting there in dead silence waiting for him to pull up his bank account is bad for the people. So because it's bad for the people, I just fill the space because that's what needs to happen. If I was just not that way, I'd try to fuck his broadcast up, right? Trying to take power, trying to talk when I'm not supposed to. He tells me to be quiet sometimes. I want to go at him even more. I just be quiet because I go, it's probably better for the interaction long term, ego aside. You know, so when motherfuckers really care about what's true and have a servant's heart and care about what the people are watching and getting, they'll not only get to some value, they'll have a different credibility and reputation and a different sense of timing, you know, and they'll just have a different ethic. Because like I said, I'll go anywhere and I'll fill space and do it with something that'll try to hold people or give them a feeling rather than sit there in silence because it's someone else's broadcast. That's not a servant's heart. I don't care if he gets to $1 billion today and calls me a punk pussy. The people are watching, and the show must go on, right? So What the fuck are you doing and saying, and what are you bringing to the table? And if you don't feel that automatically, it would seem, in every moment, then you might not be ready for this type of shit in a way where it's going to go somewhere.
Agreed. Like Pineal, why did you act and pull a Brian O'Shea on while you had the opportunity made to shine here and get a chance to interact with Anton? I just don't understand, man. What compelled you to act like a dork?
What do you mean? When?
Today? Well, with your fucking noises and your fucking nonsense.
Oh no, Paul just put me in the back because I was saying holy when, you know, Jack. I was adding to the bit that didn't need to be added to. I was just being stupid, but
well, there you go. That's sinning. That's being
right.
sinning.
I mean,
you missed the mark.
Yeah. I mean, it's all good. I'll get the chance to talk to him later.
Don't do the thing where you like tell half the story and then take accountability. Just tell the real story. You did it like 3 or 4 times, and I sat there and watched and waited on your icon because I knew you'd keep doing it, because it's almost like a child in a classroom who wants attention and is going to push boundaries. Is what it feels like. I don't want to be paranoid.
I don't want to.
Okay, he's grunting, he's making noises, he's trying to add in where it doesn't fit, and he's not going to stop. He's going to increase the less I talk about it. And then you keep doing it and doing it. I'm like, okay, you know, now you got to go.
You're right. I did do it like 3 times, but at least
3 times.
Yeah, I mean, It was unnecessary. I was a little excited.
And again, we've been doing that like 6-7 months, at least. And it's like, hey, bro, just say something. Just fucking add something. Just comment. I'll remix it if I have to. You see how I am. I'll fucking do something with it, or I'll just let it fall flat and let it get awkward. And I'll do something with that. Right. But the grunting, the yelling, the adding to the bit, the sound effects, I don't need it. You did 3-4 sound effects. Oh, no, that was Moose Creature. He's another one who, same deal, can't figure out what to do and when. And sometimes it works. And most of the time it doesn't, because either it's his Starlink or his link to the stars. His consciousness is skewed, So, yeah, man.
I was wondering, I was going to ask recently, what is this slave link reference? Now I get it. It's a Starlink reference. Okay.
Yeah. Slave link is Starlink. You're a little slow on the uptake, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Thank you, Joseph R., for your contribution, sir. I appreciate it. We're bag chasing, like Anton says. That's what it's all about. So yeah, man, like there's no way to even talk about it without sounding egoic, because again, the way I equalize is ask my father. There's nothing else for me to do. So I must have been meant to do something. If this is it, well, then that would make sense, whatever this is. It's sort of like I'm one of those people who had no place from the beginning of time. I'm either going to be a shaman, a philosopher in a cave, or somebody who's like a talent eye. Like they go, we don't know why. I'm like Scott in a way. I'm the fat guy who they don't know why he's in the room, and he can like see stuff, feel stuff and go, that guy's got talent. That song's going to work. That's not. Do this here, work it like that, put a space there, So it's just a certain eye and a feel for certain things in the moment. And you really have to, I think, be a student of kind of broadcasting, comedy, philosophy, and a lot of other things to tie it all together the way I kind of want to here. I don't even really hit the mark a lot of times with what I'm doing. But most people, they come here and then I go, it's a shame, because I'd rather just have folks come up and, like I said, talk about their life, and let's get down to some real shit. How do we conduct our lives, and how do we get successful results, and how do we reconcile the past and move into the future? So I can carry your bags, Paul. No, yours spelled Y-O-U-R. Y-O-U-R-E is U-R. So you just called me bags.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why, again, you're probably only fit for carrying bags, because had I not corrected you, you wouldn't even have known that you're completely illiterate. It's the modern day world, and you can't spell properly, and you wouldn't have even corrected it. Because I make that mistake sometimes, speaking it in my mind. And as soon as I write it or right after, I correct it. But, bag creature.
Can carry
my bag.
Our bags. Yeah, bag creature.
So yeah, bag creature. Can you fetch my duffel? Can you fetch my attaché case? I'm gonna go see Anton. He's cutting me in on the skin cream line money.
Yeah, he's got a plane to catch.
Hey, bro, anybody that tells you that somebody who's living his lifestyle isn't somewhat attractive or seductive is lying to themselves. Motherfuckers here would love to be able to afford gas money to go wherever the fuck they want. A lot of them can't, and they make excuses why money's evil and they don't have it. Well, I see why they don't have it. I see on some level why Anton has it. Right? I think that a lot of his broadcast, it's not for me. He'll probably say the same thing about me over here. I just think that, again, this is the man first and foremost. It's an idea, an ideology. It's something that came before us. We're the personality. We embody that, and then, to whatever level, and then do whatever we wish on here that we think is appealing. But, I'm not going to play that game of I got to shit on him because he's got more money and worldly power. And I come out of a 10 on an Android, and this is supposed to be like people want to play out. I can already feel it. This thing where we go back to high school and we click up and go, he's this guy from this group, and you're the tent guy who's the outcast and the misfit, right? That's my default mode. I'm not going to play that up, right? Unless I have to genuinely in a conversation. If it goes that way, I'll own that position. But I'm not going to default play the, loser, failure, poor, broke, druggy, self-sabotaging, right? Like it's about diplomacy. See, and I've done it with people here before. It's not specific to him. I've had folks come up here. I know they're pathetic, kept pet, cowardly slaves. The difference is they'll either say, I'm going to go look at that, or I'd rather not comment on that, or yeah, you're right. I just back right the fuck up, and then I go, well, what else can we do for you here, and what can we work on? And how can we make bits, right? I don't ever fucking put fire under Brian O'Shea's ass, right, about certain things, because I'm not going to sit here and be in judgment of everybody all the time on rights, freedom, principles. That's what I stand on. I think everyone else needs to. If not, we're all going to be sorry. Now let's get on with life, because it continues. So I don't put the heat to his ass. If he's willing to say, I'd rather not comment, I'll learn more about it. Or, yeah, I'm a punk ass bitch coward. Those are three answers that gets me right off the subject and onto, because if not, then it's like I'm trying to come from a position of being above people, have power over them by what I do and don't do. And it's not about that. I will hold your ass to a healthy competition to say, if not, we're fucked. And why are you talking and think you have value when, as a man on the ground from the beginning of time, you're worthless to me and to the creation? That's a true statement, other than in the world, right? Day to day, like doing a broadcast, filling space, entertainment, being friendly with each other, having experiences, sharing experience. Where's the root core value in that being in front of me or in the eyes of the creation? So it's only when people buck up and try to challenge that and get uppity with me over that I meet that the same way. Anton don't do that. O'Shea don't do that. A lot of other folks don't do that. So we very rarely have fucking issues where we get back and forth. There's a difference between having your perspective and your opinion and then deferring at a certain time or stop talking and being diplomatic versus saying, I'm right all the time, I'm not going to make it right, and fuck you, and blah, 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 and make excuses. So, you say whatever you want about him or anyone else who's quote unquote successful, even if it's just with money. Guess what they've had to learn, if nothing else? How to be diplomatic. They might be a complete infidel, worldly scum, but they know how to talk. They know how to yield. They know how to put forth a presentment where they're going to be well received, or they wouldn't be able to move forward in that world. So when you don't do that with those people, you lose credibility. They say, we don't even want to fucking listen to you because you look like some back alley creature, right? And that's why they'll say, look at Paulie, he's a little bit different. Yeah, because I know the game. If I want to get to him and people like them, I have to be a different kind of mode. I can be passionate when it calls for it. I have to yield and be reserved and be professional when it calls for it, as long as the person across from me is being diplomatic. See, when Artie came here, he was being a punk ass bitch. I didn't give a fuck what his network was, his net worth, his professional. It just goes all right out the window. Just like Zach Hubbard. Zach Hubbard could have got me to a big bag and opportunities and all the rest. He was coming here to suck my dick in a way, and he had to get his ego out of the way to do that. I fucking trashed his ass because he wouldn't be diplomatic. He wouldn't be real with himself and others. He wouldn't come correct. Anton didn't do that. So, if we're going to write the narrative, as I know people are, that there's a new daddy in town and Paulie's deferring to him and he's moving a little bit different way. Now, you've seen me do this before. And you see me go the other way. And I suspect if Anton, like anyone else, hang around me long enough, we're going to fucking get into it again. And he knows it too. Right. So maybe neither of us necessarily want that, but we know it's a mutual assured outcome because it's just how it goes. Someone's going to pipe up. Someone's going to pipe up. Someone's going to think they're right or know they're right, be able to show that and tell that. And someone else is either going to pipe up back and be defensive or say, nah, you got that one and move on. Right. So that's almost a healthy process with men in a way. If you want to call certain people alpha males or males who are competent, that's a fleshing out process. We do that regularly. I'll regularly put the heat to your ass, test you, take your temperature, hold you accountable. You do it to me. Like he said, are you going to be held accountable? Yeah, absolutely. Hold me the fuck accountable. I live for that shit. Accountability, responsibility, authenticity. All you be doing is getting me right or telling me something I already know. I know my strengths and weaknesses. So give me some final words. Let's get the fuck out of here. Bro, we got Talcott in an hour, man. And I'm going to fuck with him today, too. I don't give a fuck about anything else. Talcott's not going to just keep getting away with everything and not being accountable just because he's loving, man. He's supremely narcissistic, manipulative, and disingenuous, right? And he's extremely naive and gullible as well on the other end. Like, I will sit there and use sarcasm right in his face, and he will go, "Thank you, Paul." I go, "I just insulted you. You know, what I just did there, I was insulting you in a way that I did it sarcastically because I knew you wouldn't figure it out." So you can't be a successful person and get any kind of resources and be so fucking gullible and naive. You either don't recognize sarcasm or you're so passive aggressive, you go thank you and embarrass yourself because you don't want to like be in controversy. Till you get so angry, you can't help it. We got to work on that. So let's get the hell out of here, please. And then we'll come back in about an hour.
Yeah, like OTW said, interesting broadcast. Yeah, I just wanted to ask him a couple other questions, but some of the maybe interrogative nature, but another one I wanted to ask him was totally not about the restaurant business and whatnot, which I've been out of for a while, as OTW has as well, right?
Yeah, a bit now. I was gonna ask him like why there's so many hit pieces exposing him as like one of the questions I wanted to ask him.
Well, hey man, Paul's got the same. You know, when you're getting, I'm not gonna try to white knight or because I don't know the guy. You know, I don't know what he might actually be a part of or what he's done in the past. But when you get big and you're controversial, it's bound to happen. But again, I don't know. I don't know the individual, so it could be for some actual shady dealings. I don't know. So that's a good question. Good point.
Ultimately, man, you can't really speak about anything that you can't prove because then it just backfires on you. So I just stay away from that shit, right? You know, like I said, I got like 3 to 5 areas where I am going to refocus back on at some point with everybody and say, well, what the fuck how does that relate to you? And what are you doing with that? You know, everything else that's his walk, that's his life, that's his journey. I'm sure he's fucked up. If he's repented and reformed himself, then that's in the eyes of the creator, like all of us. You know, but again, it's a fine line between discernment, not letting people get away with shit, and then just attacking them because you perceive them as above you in the hierarchical status. You know, that's all snafu and folks like that are doing. They feel poor and broke. They feel inadequate. They feel like this guy's getting to something. So they're going to make everything about pogo and this and that and the third, but then can't substantiate it. Let's say you're real and true. Okay, snafu. We're not going to judge you. I'm going to show you how you're going to be perceived. Show the fucking facts and evidence. Put it up. Show it. Where's the connections? What does it all mean? Where does it go? If not, it just makes you look like somebody who's hating on somebody who's perceived as successful. It doesn't do well for you. It's one thing to hold somebody accountable and bring the facts of the matter, the paperwork, like they would say in jail or anywhere else. Show the fucking paperwork. Tell me what the fuck it all means. Break it down. If you can't, you're just making fucking claims that can't be substantiated. It makes you look like a poor, broke hater. That's why I said, let's get the fuck away from that. I don't give a fuck about the restaurant, the trust fund baby, all the other shit that's out there. I'm here with you right now. I want to know what the fuck are you standing on? What are you about? And we never got to the answer of right freedom and principles. And that's why I said, I don't need all that other shit. I'm right here right now. I'm a human lie detector and I know where your heart's at. And it's going to tell me what I need to know, how limited the business I could do with you going forward, right? Because I can't do more than limited interactions with people who don't have core principles because it will be a liability to me in the way I live, you know? So it's that simple, man. And then they want to pogo there, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't go anywhere. I've been telling you that for fucking months. You don't listen to me. And then you want to destroy my broadcast, embarrass me again, and interrupt an interaction with somebody who can create more viewers and eyes on whatever we're talking about here. But you always talk the same shit in a loop and never let anyone else talk. So we can't do that. That's why all your channels suck. You got no viewership. Nobody's watching. Nobody cares. And you sound like a raving lunatic. So nobody even considers your information. Wow. There's no self-awareness, can't read the room. All right, can we please get final words and get the fuck out of here?
Yeah. Go ahead, Pine Neil.
Yeah, good broadcast. I'll see y'all later. Peace and blessings. And yeah, until Talcott time. Much love.
Thank you, sir.
Peace.
Thank you. Peace.
All right, so I ain't gonna say much. I'm just gonna get the fuck out of here. Ciao, man.
All right, we'll see you later. Go ahead, Jay Gnosis. You got anything? All right, nothing. All right, thank you, folks, for being part of another asylum affair. We opened it up. We let everyone in. We expressed, as always. There was a little bit of hot and heavy action. It got a little bit heated, as it usually does. It's no reflection on me, of course. I am just a facilitator, as always, have been. Your trusty facilitator and narrator. Every once in a while, I'll get involved because I got to check motherfuckers on what's real and true and what I've seen as a pattern and habit a behavior that is dysfunctional or deleterious to oneself and the group. So that is humility, the practice of getting before the creation and speaking about how we can become better. If we're not doing that process alone and together, I don't think we're going to get as much value out of life as we could. So accountability, authenticity, responsibility, those are the three keys to me in my life. Own a position, move forward with confidence, know yourself and know the shot. And if you're corrected, be diplomatic and yield. So, yeah, I'm out of here. Till next time, folks. We're back in an hour anyway, right? We're on the clock here. I barely even get any rest. I'm doing so much fucking service. It's unbelievable. Yeah, an hour from now with Talcott, and we'll turn it up and listen to his insanity. And, you know, Talcott's new Black Daddy, Anton, I suspect he'll be over there, and, you know, he'll get an earful. He'll get to see for himself, like everyone who comes through gets to see for themselves. Maybe he'll have a different perspective. All right, I'm out of here, folks. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Much love.